Guys, we have a great Pawn Chats in store. Before we get into it, I want to thank the episode sponsor, Bong Water Beverage Company. They are a THC-infused drink designed to hit you fast, taste great, available in a variety of different flavors, options, and milligrams. It is in Minnesota, Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, parts of Texas, and parts of Wisconsin. Must be 21 or older to consume here in Minnesota. And with that, we have a legend of the silver and gold community. Well, I would say probably more the silver side. Silverpicker.
Hello everybody, Silverpicker here, and in today's video, I'm going to continue answering the age-old question of how much are my old coins worth?
Mr. Max Hawkley is here joining us all the way from Israel. You have such a great channel. You have a huge following too. For those watching that don't know who you are, why don't you give us the kind of lay of the land of how you got to become the Silverpicker?
First of all, thank you very much for having me on your show. I think we first linked up because I was fanboying on you. I found you on TikTok and you had such like a fresh take on this whole like world that we're in, right? Like it's no secret, I'm sure we'll get into this later. It's no secret that like there's this tension between like the young people and the boomers of the precious metals investing and coin collecting world.
Yeah, you got me pulling their tail with terms like boomer.
Exactly, and like you coined that, and I was watching you, and then I think I reached out, and we ended up connecting, and here we are. So I'm stoked about that. Basically, I'm the Silverpicker. I started on YouTube many moons ago. I started in 2011, in sort of like the early days of YouTube. And I remember when I started, I was just getting into the world of precious metals, buying and selling silver and gold. I mean, 2011 was when silver reached almost 50 bucks an ounce and gold was hitting close to 2,000 an ounce. I was super stoked about it. And I was getting into making videos. I was in college taking a documentary filmmaking course, and I was loving it. And I thought I could do better than the crap that was out there on YouTube. So I'm like, I got my camera, I started making videos, and I did not do better than what was out there. My first videos were more or less unwatchable. They were terrible. And I leave them up on my channel. Anyone who's curious can go and, sort by oldest to newest and see. It is really unwatchable. And as they say, I think I shot it on a potato. It was really bad. But each video I got a little better. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I've got like 500 subscribers. How the hell did that happen? And then I started putting more effort in and getting really into it. And, over the years I've evolved, like I think everybody who's doing anything of value does. And here I am. And in just a few weeks, hopefully I'll hit the milestone of 200,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Boy, last I talked to you, you were at like 175.
It's not linear. Like what happens is it'll be like really slow. Like it'll go, right now I'm actually sort of in that tail of slowness where I think I'm getting like 1,500 subscribers a month. But sometimes I'll have a video that goes viral and I'll get like 4,000 a month.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt you, but I myself also, I had the same issue with growing my channel. I'm still having an issue. This is my smallest audience probably out of everything, which is frustrating because this, in my opinion, on YouTube is my best content. It's what I put the most effort into. And the reason being, it's the service that pays you the fairest. But, kind of explain the pushing the boulder up the mountain aspect and why 1 million subs does not equal $1 million unless it's on YouTube.
I'll give a little story about like how financial stuff comes into play with my YouTube channel and sort of the business side of it. When I started my channel, I think most people who start a YouTube channel or an Instagram account or a TikTok or whatever, the ones who go into it saying, I'm going to do this to make money, almost all of them fall off. Like you have to have some passion or it's just going to fall off because it takes so long to actually see any financial value from a social media account. Obviously there are like, these 1 in a million stories where somebody just blows up and in 6 months they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars on social media. But most people who are making a living on social media did it the old fashioned way, which is a funny way of describing social media as a job. But for me, from 2011 until 2015, I didn't make any money on YouTube. I was just posting videos randomly and I just posted them whenever I had. Basically what I did is I would go to garage sales and estate sales and I'd buy up silver and gold and coins and all that stuff. I was also buying like vintage video games and stuff like that. And I would make a video when I bought stuff. But if I didn't buy stuff, I wasn't making any videos. And every now and again I would make something, but I made no money for the first like 4 or 5 years. Then in 2015, when I realized like I had a few hundred followers, maybe I even had a thousand or two, at that point. I was like, I'm going to invest in a camera. And I bought like what I thought at the time was a fancy camera. It really wasn't, but it was better than the, piece of junk point and shoot I was using. And I basically started making more videos and trying to, I got my first sponsorship, which was actually really funny. I'll tell you that in a second, but I started making at that point, like maybe $100, $120 a month, sometimes less. Sometimes I'd get paid out at the end of 2 months because you have to have like $100 limit to get paid per month. So I was making very, very little, certainly not enough to warrant the hours I was putting in, right? Every time I made a video, I'd spend hours and hours shooting and manipulating everything and then editing and publishing it. It was not worth it. It came out to like $6 an hour or something. But I knew that I was building an audience and I knew I was enjoying it still at that point. And around 2019, before I moved to full-time living in Israel, I was living in the US. And I'd lived in Israel as a teenager and I was back and forth. But when I decided to move here permanently, I quit my corporate job. And I was like, okay, I don't know what my income is going to be like. I've got this YouTube thing. I'm making like $100 a month. Maybe I can, ramp it up to $500 a month if I work really hard and offset some of my costs. And I said, I'm going to make a video every single week. Come hell or high water, I am going to make a video every single week. And starting in 2019, I started doing that. Things started to grow really, really quickly. And I, shortly thereafter, I was able to offset some of my bills. And then within another year, I was able to pay my rent. And then little by little, it turned into a real business. And I said I'd tell a funny story about my first sponsorship. My first sponsorship was, I had never even thought that I would get a sponsor, but I get an email from this company. It was an app. Boxes was the name of the app. And they asked me what I charged to do a video. I had no idea. I just was like, oh, I guess, and I had like, I think 5,000 subscribers at that point, maybe less. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to charge. So I said to them, I charge $5,000 per video.
Huh. They bite?
And they say, that's way above our budget. We were planning on offering you 50. I remember talking to my friends. I was in grad school at the time, and I was talking to my friends over lunch, and I was like, I asked them for $5,000 and they offered me 50. How do I say yes? I was like, $50, great. I'm making videos for nothing anyway. Why not get $50? So I sent them this email and I was like, if you can raise it to 100, we can try it out because I think it's a cool product or something. And they paid me $100. I did the video and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world that I got paid to be, to have a sponsored video. Thank God now I'm able to more or less choose the sponsors that I have and work with them long term. And they're like really high quality companies that I really like. And also my audience, I can tell when my audience doesn't like a sponsor. That hasn't happened in years, but when I first was starting out, I picked some companies offered me sponsorships and my audience rebelled and they're like, what the hell is this? What does this have to do with coin collecting or precious metals? So
just to shift gears a little bit here. So I stay the hell away from the word investment. I don't have a license to sell investments. You can get in trouble for that here. It's one of the reasons why my dad went to prison was using the word investment. What is the rule in Israel different? Do you just semantically not, or like, can you get around it? Do you just not care?
I would say I don't actually know what the rule in Israel is, but I do. Anytime that I'm skirting around the word investment, like if I say if I'm talking about investments in a video, almost every time, unless I've forgotten something, but like at least in recent memory, anytime I'm actually making a video about like investing in precious metals or investing in stocks or crypto, anything like that, I always make a disclaimer saying like, I am not a financial advisor. This should not be construed as financial advice. I am a YouTuber that's passionate about coin collecting, precious metals, and investing. And these are my opinions, basically.
Yeah, there you go. I always say these are opinions, not facts. Everything I state is an opinion.
I do talk about investments. I just did a video on tier ranked 25 of the most common types of investments. And that's clearly an opinion, right? Like I'm saying, I think that the Roth IRA is the best thing you can do as an American to ensure your financial future. Like I've told this story a bunch of times, but I had a friend who came to me once and he was like, I've got a couple $1,000s, and I know you're really into precious metals. Like, what kind of gold and silver and stuff should I invest in? And I was like, first off, have you maxed out your Roth IRA? And he's like, no. And I said, okay, there's nothing to talk about. The Roth IRA is a government program that is capped specifically because it is so good. If it wasn't capped, everyone would just invest everything through their Roth IRA because whatever you make on it is tax-free. I don't tell people what they should buy within their Roth IRA, right? They can buy stocks, they can buy ETFs, you can buy precious metals. I don't tell people what they should buy, but I tell people that they should have a Roth IRA. And that's financial advice, I guess, that I'm comfortable saying, because it's basically saying like you should invest.
It's not risky though. It's harmless and it's good advice anyway. Like people want to know about crypto with me. Sometimes it's like, I'm not going to tell you about which crypto to buy. It's all gambling. You may as well go to the casino.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about crypto a bunch, but none of my crypto videos did well, even though I was like really into it. And so I just more or less stopped making videos because my audience didn't care about it.
You'll notice every major crypto quote unquote guru has made one, if not so many egregious mistakes, it's destroyed their credibility.
I know have you been following that the Logan Paul Crypto Zoo saga?
No, I don't follow anything with Logan Paul. I like watching him fight. Yeah. I think he's a good fighter.
Yeah. Basically, he created his own NFT project and he sold tokens and NFTs for $12 million. And part of those NFTs, it was part of a game. It was called Crypto Zoo. You were buying these NFT eggs that would hatch into like creatures of some kind, and the creatures would have different rarities. And
God, this sounds like such a scam.
He just didn't finish the game. And like people bought $12 million worth of stuff, and then the NFT market crashed and he just kind of like disappeared on it. So this YouTuber, CoffeeZilla, who is like kind of like an investigative reporter type guy, investigating stuff on the internet, and like really well done. He like called Logan Paul out on this, and it's been like this back and forth, like, you know, multi-year saga. And then after CoffeeZilla's video dropped, Logan Paul came out with like this weird kind of like half-hearted apology, and then said that no matter what, he's gonna like finish the game, and it's underway, and blah blah blah. And now he just sort of quietly canceled the game and is refunding $2 million to the people who bought the NFTs, but the $10 or $12 million that he sold in the tokens that went to zero, he's not refunding. Even though initially when he launched it, he said the tokens are not investment, cryptocurrencies, it's in-game tokens for using like, in-game currency. And now he's saying, nope, those were just tokens that you gambled on and you lost.
That is begging to get in a lot of trouble. I stay the hell away from anything nefarious like that. And I even had an NFT company wanted to do a pawn man thing. I was like, no.
Yeah, I have a good friend that got really into crypto, and he's like a very, very intelligent guy, and he works in finance, and he was sort of trying to game the system. And he's the only person I know personally that bought an NFT for $40,000 and sold it for $150,000. I think he had made close to $1 million, like $750,000 through crypto trading. And then there was like a cataclysmic event. He had a bunch of margin, and like he had a bunch of the trades on margin, and they basically like liquidated his account to pay back, the debt. And he ended up losing everything.
A few more questions. Tell us about your background in collecting coins and numismatics, and do you collect coins personally? If so, do you collect Israeli coins? Because I personally like them quite a bit.
The short answer is yes, I have my own personal coin collection. But a lot of my viewers are surprised when they find out how narrow it is. Like, I don't collect, like a lot of my viewers who are like hardcore numismatists, they have an album for every US denomination. They've got typesets of like 20 different countries. They've got, they collect the mint sets, and they collect, everything and anything under the sun. And for people who are super passionate about it, if you've got the time, go for it, right? If you're really serious about it and you want to do like a really broad collection, go for it. But for me, I prefer having a few things that I'm really into and working on those. And what that means for me is I have a US typeset album, which I love, and I've I've gotten all of those coins just from buying collections and trading. I've never like gone to a coin store and said, oh, I want to buy this for $500 or something, right? So I built that collection totally like organically, and it was free because I basically bought large collections and I would keep a few of the coins for my own typeset, and the rest, and that was basically like my profit. So I was able, as part of the fun of that was also showing my audience that like, if you're willing to put in the legwork and do your collection and hobby as a business, you can actually build a really nice coin collection for free. So that's my US typeset. And then I have not an Israeli coin collection per se, but I have the British Mandate of Palestine coin set. And that's what I've been working on. It's from basically post World War I through the founding of the State of Israel, when the British were running what is today Israel and Jordan. And it's one album, and it has every year of every denomination in it. And I'm, about 2/3 of the way through that. And then I have my US gold typeset that I'm working on. And that's basically it. I have a few other little things here and there, like mini projects, but those are like my three main things. But my US gold typeset is also kind of part of my, just like my precious metals investment. So yes, there's numismatic value to a lot of that, but a lot of my gold, like I do have a fairly sizable like gold stack. But it sort of straddles the line between investment and collection. My collection might be small in size, but it's still probably like I'd say like $40,000 collection or so. I got into it originally, like I got into coin collecting when I was a kid. My dad got me into it because he collected with his dad. He and his dad were more into stamps, but I was always more drawn to the coins. Mostly I was into just like coins from lots of different countries. I just liked seeing the different countries. So that's what I was into. And then when I was in college in 2011, when gold and silver started to spike, that's when I got into buying and selling coins. And it was like almost entirely a business at that point. But I'd buy a big collection and I'd find myself going like, ooh, I really like that one. I'd put that one to the side. I'm going to keep that one. And ooh, I actually like that one too. I'm going to hold on to that one. And all of a sudden I was bitten by the numismatic bug, and all of a sudden I was a coin collector.
Final question for you here, and I'll let you go because I got to start opening up my store soon. Where do you see gold and silver prices going over the next year? We're starting 2024 as we record this.
I have absolutely no idea. And I always say to people, I have absolutely no idea. There's no question. Okay, from industrial use, like silver is, I'd say that probably one of the biggest uses is in solar panels in terms of like things that are like industries that are growing. Gold is used in every single electronic known to man. But still there's like a tremendous amount of use in jewelry for both. But I don't see like the demand for jewelry skyrocketing in 2024. The only thing that's really going to push the needle on gold and silver is investor demand and speculation. I think that there is no question that the world feels very unstable right now. I mean, I'm here in Israel and we're literally at war right now. The last couple of weeks have been a little bit quieter, but for the last 3 months, basically, I've been running to bomb shelters almost every day. The war in Ukraine is a disaster. There's a lot of instability in the world, and whenever there's instability, people want to go towards safe haven investments. Sorry for using the I word. It is reasonable to think that if things continue on this path, that it'll be, a pro for gold and silver, and gold and silver will increase. But what I always say on my channel when I talk about investing in precious metals, for me, I'm not actually interested in buying gold and silver as a speculative investment. I don't buy it thinking like, oh, silver is going to go to $50-$60 and gold's going to go to 3,000. Like, I don't think about it like that at all. For me, the utility of having gold and silver is, one, gold and silver is a good, historically it has been a good hedge against inflation. So if you're going to keep cash, let's say you want to have, for your family, you want to have a, $20,000-$30,000 rainy day fund, might not be a bad idea to keep it in gold and silver, because if you're letting it sit there for years, your purchasing power isn't going to get chipped away by inflation if you would have kept that in cash. And then the other is for, instability protection, like the zombie apocalypse, right? There's no question that, I have friends that grew up in Venezuela, And, with the hyperinflation that's been going on there for years, all their families have invested quite heavily in gold. I'm sure there are stories all over Ukraine of people, using gold and silver to, sort of make their escape. And historically, there's plenty of examples throughout, World War II, et cetera, of using precious metals to escape calamity. So I think there's value in investing in precious metals, even if you don't think they're going to skyrocket, gold and silver to the moon in 2024.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. And, it's never a bad idea, you guys, to have precious metals, to hold it. At least try. If you never have, it's not crazy prep or doomsday nonsense. It is actually economics 101. Simple as that. I'm going to let you go. I thank you, though, so much for coming onto my channel here. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, and do you have any projects that are coming out soon?
First off, you can find me on YouTube. That's my main platform, Silverpicker. I also have a website, thesilverpicker.com. I just launched a newsletter, so you can put your email there right on my homepage. Get a newsletter where I talk about numismatic and precious metals news, sort of a weekly roundup. I'm on TikTok and Instagram as The Silverpicker, and I've got a lot of really exciting things for 2024, but you'll just have to come and see. And one of those things that I can say is I am sure that Mr. Pawnman himself and I will be doing a lot of collaborations. I'm excited, and thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. And again, you guys, Bong Water Beverage sponsoring this video. Minnesota, Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, parts of Texas, parts of Wisconsin. Remember, guys, don't hit the bong, drink the water. Bong water. It's not actual bong water. It's just a stupid thing that I thought of, I think is funny. Check it out, seriously. All right, thanks, Max.